Let us discuss what are streams. Until now, we have seen various collection classes. So in JDK 1.8, a new feature called streams has been introduced. So what is the purpose of stream? So one of the purpose is to enable the functional style programming, okay, right, to perform certain operations on the collection elements. So for example, you have a linked list. You want to filter the items, or you want to maybe convert the item into something else, each element into something else based on certain function or whichever. Okay, so this is one of the aspect, functional style programming. And actually, whenever you are creating a stream out of a collection, you are not actually creating again a copy of that. Rather, you are just holding a reference to the linked list. See, as you can see here, of course, it need not be linked list. It can be any other collection. It can be hash set, tree set, and right array list, whichever. See, as you can see here, the stream is a reference to the underlying collection. Okay, so it is just a reference. Okay, as we already know that the elements of the linked list or any collection are stored in the main memory. Okay, so this is one objective. The other objective is it uses the underlying parallel process. See, here we have a linked list. Let us assume I have a linked list of employee elements. Maybe inside that I have, let me just try to write some pseudo code. Okay. All right. So I have an employee elements. And I have maybe ID of employee. I have name of employee, and maybe I have salary of employee. Okay, right? Fine. This is just a pseudo code. You can have corresponding setter getter, and all this can be private and right. See, let us assume you want to filter for all the employees whose salary is greater than certain amount. So traditionally what you do, you try to iterate through each element and maybe you try to create another linked list out of that. Traditionally we do that. So there you are trying to do serially. But the advantage of streams is it uses the underlying hardware architecture to parallelize it. For example, there are multiple CPUs in the hardware. Okay, so it will, so you have said 2000 elements in the linked list. In that case, the filtering is applied parallelly to multiple elements in the linked list. Thereby the result is, I mean, the resultant stream, okay, which has been filtered, it is very easy to achieve. Then you may have doubts like how can I do the criteria for the filter, like where can I apply it, what is the syntax. Okay? So we are just getting into that in a while. Okay, so the most common operations which you can perform on the stream are, one is filtering. This is used to filter out certain elements, okay, or filter certain elements which match the criteria. The next thing is map. Map means convert each element into some other element based on some criteria. Reduce, like for example, you want to find out the average salary of all the employees, or you want to find out the minimum salary of all the, or the maximum salary of all the employees. Okay, right? So so basically all the elements in the collection finally get reduced into one, okay, based on the criteria which is being provided. Okay, And you also have the provision that you can convert the stream, okay, back to a specific collection using this collect method. Okay, fine. So this is a very brief about the stream. So before we get into the or in parallelly, let us try to just analyze this filter. See, filter returns a new stream that contains some of the elements of the original. Okay, it accepts the predicate to compute which element should be returned in the new stream and removes the rest. Okay, so we provide a predicate. Predicate is nothing but it's just like a function which holds the criteria to filter the elements which has to be in the final stream. All right. So let's explore an example further. So just to save time, I have already created the example. Okay. So filter example. See here, I have an array list, okay, or I have a list of some elements. Of course, these are being stored as the integer objects, right? So let me try to apply the filter. Okay. So as you already know, the three popular okay methods which can be applied on the stream are the filter, map, and reduce. You can apply any number of times. Okay, that is filter. Again, you can filter with some other criteria multiple times. You can apply it. Right. Okay. So see how you can get the stream out of a collection means you need to say dot stream. So you get the resultant stream. So here you are trying to filter based on the predicate which is being provided here. Okay, so what is a predicate? Nothing complex. It's basically a lambda which can provide the criteria. So if this criteria is true, then this element, this specific element is going to be in the final stream, otherwise not. Okay, see, until here you get the stream, the result stream. So after that, if you want, you can again create one more collection out of that by using dot collect. Okay, so we try to do that for okay here. Here rather what we are trying to do is we are trying to apply the for each. Okay, and we are trying to just print the elements okay which are in the resultant string. Okay, right. So here also we are trying to apply the same thing. Okay, the only thing is we are again taking the stream and we are trying to okay, the same thing we are achieving here. Here also it is the same thing, but the only thing is in the meanwhile we converted into a okay, see the collect method. So here we are saying to list, so it finally gets converted into a list. Again we are just iterating. Okay, so we are trying to achieve the same thing. So this is about the filter. So this is called predicate. Fine. So let me just show you what is a predicate. In Java, predicates is a functional interface which accepts an arguments and return a boolean. Usually, it is used to apply in a filter for a collection of objects. So basically, it returns true or false. If it returns true, then the resultant element is going to be in the element which is being tried out, that is going to be in the final stream. Else, it's not. Right. It's not necessary that every time you create a whatever the resultant collection, you have to just print it. It may happen that you want to return it, or you want to persist it, or you may want to do some other processing, okay, etc. Fine. So that's about filter. Now let us discuss. I provided a little bit complex examples for the filter. So let us just walk through this. So I have a person class. I'm trying to create a list out of that here. I'm trying to filter based on the age. So if the age is greater than 80, then the element is going to be retained in the stream, else not. And after that, I just print it. So here also you can convert into some other collection by using dot collect method. Okay, fine. Right. So here, let's do one thing. I want to apply the filter multiple times. See here, I'm checking for the multiple of 5, right? So let us assume I also want to uh, I also want, okay, I want to filter it once more. So let me copy it. So I want to filter. See, basically in the result, I'll be having the multiples of 5. So let me do one thing. Uh, so 15 and 20 are going to be retained. So in this, let me see. Okay, let me try to retain only the multiples of 10. Fine. Okay. So in the first list which is going to be printed, okay, right. I'll be having only the multiple of 10. So whenever you are observing any existing code, the best way to learn is trying to make some changes. That's the best way to learn. Okay. So in case you are exploring any existing examples, so you can try to play around with that by making some changes and maybe by changing some code here, and it did not be what is it? It did not be the modulo. It can be something greater than less than, or it can be in the range of some values, or it can be something else. Right. So fantastic. So the first element only 20 is there, right? Okay. So only 20 got written. So in this way, you can apply the filter multiple times. Right. Let's move on to the next one. Maybe the map, or right. So we had already seen like applying the filter for the objects. Right. Okay. So let's move on to the. We had also seen what's a predicate. Okay, so predicates is basically the functional interface, okay, which basically takes a parameter and returns the boolean. So this boolean is considered, decides whether the element which is being tried out need to be retained in a stream or not. So the advantage of stream is, so let us assume you have 2000 3000 elements, so parallelly multiple elements are uh, checked with the predicate by using the full power of the hardware. Next, map. So map is used to basically transform an element into some other. So it accepts a function to apply to each and every element of the stream and return a stream of values the parameter function produced. Right. So with the map, it is used to transform each element into some other element. So in case of filter, in the resultant stream, the number of elements are always less than or equal to the elements in the source stream. Here, the elements are always same as that of the source string. Okay, so let us check an example for this. Right. So here we have an array of elements. So basically we are applying, okay, the transformation. Okay, so each one we want to convert it into the multiple of 3. Okay, so the finally whichever is received, you can convert to a corresponding stream. Sorry, collection, or I'm just trying to print it using for each. Right. So similarly, you can also apply on the uh, objects. user defined by using the user defined classes. Here we are using a wrapper class which is a teacher, right? So the next one which we'll be discussing is reduce. So reduce basically what it does is, let us assume you have the collection of employees, okay? So, and you create a stream out of that, and you want to reduce it to finally to one value. So that may be based on the right. You want the employee who is earning maximum salary or minimum salary, or you want to find out the average salary of all of them. So, right, so that is the purpose of the reduce. And as you already know, we had already seen in an example, okay, the collect. So the collect is basically used to create a collection out of the string. Okay, fantastic. So here we have an example. So, okay, let's take a quick look. So I have the people, okay, some collection. So out of that, I'm creating a stream. Then I'm trying to filter the elements based on this criteria. So PP is basically the object of the people. So I'm trying to get the gender. So basically, I want to return only the female gender people in. Then further, I'm trying to map. That means I'm trying to convert. I'm trying to convert. Okay, the person. I'm trying to take the okay to the get name, and finally I want to get the uppercase of the name. Okay, so the result will basically have the upper cases of the female people, okay, and only the names, right? So that is the purpose of map. So let's go and explore an example for the reduce. See here we have an array list, and out of this array list, okay, so we are getting the stream out of it. And here we have a reduce. So for the reduce, we need to give the, okay, what is the right, what is the criteria to reduce. That means basically we are taking two objects. So we are checking which has as the maximum length. So if word one has the maximum length, like for example word one has the maximum length, then we are going to return word two. So basically I'm trying to give the uh, okay. So if word one is greater than, so if this is true, that means we are going to return word two, okay, otherwise word one. So the meaning is I'm trying to give the shortest, I'm trying to give the shortest string, okay. So basically there may be result or there may not be result, okay. So one more addition to JDK8 is something called optional. That means in the result, okay, optional is basically an interface, and in the result there may be element or there may not be element. Okay, so basically this is to avoid null pointer exception. So here we are checking if present is provided by the optional interface. So we are just checking if it is present, then we are going to print that specific element. Okay, right. I'm just trying to retrieve it and okay and do nothing with them. So so the condition here is whichever is larger. Say for example word 1 is big is lengthier than word 2. That means I'm going to get word 2, that is the smallest one. So I'm supposed to get the smallest one in the result. So basically I'm going to get triple A. Okay, so let me run it. Yes, that's right.